Regular Board of Trustees meeting, October 29, 2020. Let's see. The first item on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance and Invocation, led by me. Thanks.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I pledge allegiance to the flag. On the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to the Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Like so much, I want to say it twice. Okay, if you'll please bow your heads. Lord, please let us be thankful each and every day for this wonderful community that we call home. And if you will please watch over those infected by the COVID virus and watch over our country and try to steer us in the right direction and get everybody working in the same direction. And we ask that you watch over our military here and abroad, and that you guide us today as we deliberate the business of MBU that ultimately impacts our community. We ask these things in your son's name. Amen. Okay, let's see. Item B, public comment. Okay, public comment. The New Orleans Utilities Board of Trustees welcomes and encourages the public to attend its meetings and asks that any member of the public wishing to speak should come to the microphone and state his or her name and address. For items not posted on the agenda, the MBU Board of Trustees may not deliberate on any item that is not posted on the agenda. Such an item, MBU may 1, make a statement of fact regarding the item, 2, make a statement concerning the policy regarding the item, or 3, propose that the item be placed on a future agenda. For items posted on the agenda, the public may provide comments during the public comment period and during the board's consideration of the posted item. The public may now address the MBU Board of Trustees on any issue and items of concern related to MBU. For individuals who want to provide public comment during the board's deliberation of an item posted on the agenda, please approach the lectern when the board reads the item for consideration. We ask that all comments be limited to no more than 5 minutes. Okay, seeing none, that takes us to item C, recognitions. And number 1, American Public Power Award Mutual Aid Commendation.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that. We shared with you at the last meeting in pretty great detail all the pride that we had in our employees who participated in the mutual aid recently for the hurricane in East Texas. And we recently were awarded by the American Public Power Association their mutual aid commendation for that assistance that we provided to restore power to the cities of Hemp Hill, Newton, and Jasper after Hurricane Laura. And so I want to, of course, extend my greatest appreciation to all of our MBU employees, those that went, those that stayed back so that they could go, those that helped them prepare and support them while they were gone, as well as their families who did without them at home for that period. So very proud of everybody who was involved with it and wanted to recognize this award that we received. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, item D, items from chair. Number 1, MBU board meeting calendar. Y'all should all have a copy of that in front of you. Anybody have any questions, comments, concerns about that?
I like that. It looks fine to me. Do we need a motion?
Got a motion?
Yeah, and a second.
A motion and a second to accept the calendar as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Or do we need to call roll on this one? No. Okay. Okay, that takes us to item 2, election of officers for the MBU Board of Trustees for the offices of President, Vice President, and Secretary.
Mr. Harold, I move that we keep the officers that we have in place now and continue those through the next year.
Okay, you're going to specify those names?
President, John Harold, Vice President, Secretary.
And I'll second Mr. Campos' motion.
We have a first and second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Okay, that takes us to This will be a fun section here. Item 3, resolution in recognition of Atanasio Campos for his 20 years on the NBU Board of Trustees. Turn it over to Ian Taylor.
Yes, sir. First of all, let me say thank you to the City of New Braunfels, Robert Camarano and his whole team, City Council for letting us use City Council chambers today. The reason we're here is because we knew there were many, many people who wanted to come and recognize Mr. Campos' service, and we simply can't do that in our boardroom because it's not big enough to socially distance. So thank you to the city for allowing us to do this today. And it is not every day that you get to recognize a person for 20 years of service on the Board of Trustees of NBU. And this isn't like volunteering for the Rotary Club. This is a difficult job, and it's a high responsibility when you're talking about the essential services for somebody's community. And you're having to make difficult decisions, but doing the right thing in the long-term interest of everybody that you're serving. So this is a big deal today. We do have a number of things that we want to present to you, Mr. Campos. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to walk up here, and I believe that's where we're going to do most of this. And I'm going to start off with two things from actually our state legislature. Our state representative, Representative Kemple, and also our state senator, Senator Donna Campbell, both have pushed resolutions into the House and to the Senate. And I have a letter here that I'm going to read from the Senate. They haven't quite got the resolution done yet. You know how government works. It doesn't happen overnight, right? But they're pushing that, and they're working on that right now. So I have a letter that I'm going to read from Senator Donna Campbell, and I actually have the resolution here from Representative John Kemple. So I'm going to come up here in front of everybody. Mr. Campos, if you wouldn't mind coming down. Can y'all hear me? Not very. Can you hear me okay? Or should I take the mask off? Okay, all right. Okay, let me first read. Yeah, I think I can actually hold this one up. The other one might be a little bigger. This is the letter that we received from Senator Donna Campbell, and it reads, "This certificate acknowledges and expresses grateful appreciation for the 20 years of service to New Braunfels Utilities that have been dedicated by Atanasio Nacho Campos from State Senator Donna Campbell." So real excited about that. Can we get a round of applause for this? Okay. Next up, this is the resolution that Representative Kemple has put to the House of Representatives. Whereas Atanasio Campos is concluding his tenure with the New Braunfels Utilities Board of Trustees on October 31st, 2020, drawing to a close 2 decades of outstanding service to the board. And whereas first appointed to the NBU board by the New Braunfels City Council in November 2000, Nacho Campos has helped NBU earn credit rating upgrades, diversifying its power supply contracts, establish a disaster contingency fund, and a utility bill assistance program, and dedicate funds to upgrading infrastructure. And whereas, I gotta tell you, this thing is suffocating me. I'm fogging on my glasses. And whereas Mr. Campos has also made significant contributions to the work of NBU as a member of the Headwaters at the Comal Advisory Committee, the Guadalupe Blanco River Authority Technical Committee, the NBU Legislative Committee, and the NBU Klingeman Property Management Ad Hoc Committee. And whereas, in addition to his service on the NBU board, Mr. Campos has given of his time and expertise to the American Public Power Association Policymakers Council, the New Braunfels Workforce Housing Advisory Committee, the New Braunfels Impact Fee Advisory Committee, and the New Braunfels Comprehensive Plan Steering Committee. He is a member of the State Bar of Texas, and whereas through his dedication, integrity, and hard work, Nacho Campos has greatly benefited the customers of New Braunfels Utilities and earned the respect and admiration of his fellow board members. And he may indeed reflect with pride on his record of achievement as he embarks on the next exciting chapter of his life. Now, therefore, be it resolved that Atanasio Campos be commended for his service to the New Braunfels Utilities Board of Trustees, and that he be extended sincere best wishes for his continued success and happiness. So congratulations, Mr. Campos.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
All I heard was he's committed. wasn't sure if somebody was gonna come and pick me up and take me.
We're not,
Thank you very much.
you're welcome. We're not done yet. We're not done. Mayor Brockman, can I ask you to come down here, sir? He has something special from the New Braunfels City Council to share with you.
Is it an order that I leave the town?
No, sir. We're not interested at all in you departing any place or going anywhere. If I can get all my hands together here, or both my hands together. I guess I don't have all. Can't even get my glasses. It's all right. Mr. Campos, we are proud to present this as the city council and from your city, a proclamation. State of Texas, County of Comal, City of New Braunfels. Whereas Antonacio Nacho Campos is the personification of leadership and innovation, having contributed to his community through service to New Braunfels Utilities and the City of New Braunfels. And whereas Antonacio Campos was born and raised in New Braunfels, Texas, and went on to receive degrees from Schreiner University and the University of Texas at Austin, returning to his hometown to practice law. And whereas Mr. Campos was first appointed to the New Braunfels Utilities Board of Trustees in November of 2000 by the New Braunfels City Council, and whereas during his 20 years of service on the board, NBU achieved credit rating upgrades from all three rating agencies, transitioned to a strategic diversification of power supply contracts, established a contingency fund in order to rapidly respond to disasters, established the Utility Bill Assistance Program, and created dedicated funds to aging infrastructure, all saving NBU customers millions of dollars. And whereas Nacho continues to passionately serve his community and protect its resources as a member of the headwaters of the Comal Advisory Committee, the Guadalupe Blanco River Authority Technical Committee, the NBU Legislative Committee, and the NBU Klingeman Property Management Ad Hoc Committee. And whereas Mr. Campos also previously served on the City of New Braunfels 2019 Bond Advisory Committee, the Workforce Housing Advisory Committee, the New Braunfels Impact Fee Advisory Board, and the New Braunfels Comprehensive Plan Steering Committee. And whereas Mr. Campos has been a jewel in the crown of the City of New Braunfels, having represented the interests of both New Braunfels Utilities and the citizens of New Braunfels with dedication and forward-thinking leadership. Now, therefore, I, Rusty Brockman, by virtue of the authority invested in me as mayor of the City of New Braunfels, Texas, do hereby recognize Antonacio Nacho Campos for his many years of service to the New Braunfels Utilities Board of Trustees and to the citizens of New Braunfels, Texas. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
For your I probably should put it over to my hand. I'm not very coordinated in the first place. I'm trying to hold one thing and put on a map and all. Don't.
Okay, next up, I'd like to ask Mr. Wes Stutter, Chair of the Board of the Greater New Braunfels Chamber of Commerce, to come up. He has something he'd like to present.
Well, Mr. Campos, congratulations on everything we've heard already. And I'm Wes Stutter, Chair of the Chamber Board. And we're so excited to present this. I've already heard the great resolutions that you've had, but this is truly a unique piece. And I can think of nobody that deserves it better. I was blessed to be able to serve with him as well on the Mayor Advisory Committee or the Bond Committee. So I know what you've done, and I've watched you over the 20 years as well, and you're just always engaged and involved in our community, and we certainly thank you for that. So today's a special day because today this is a decree, and a decree comes from a formal order, a position of authority. And so we will place this decree on Mr. Campos today, and he will get to live with it forever. And I will, yes, no, it's something good. And you'll want to tell that to your family and your friends and your former, board members as well, because this is an important one. So let me read this to you. It says, from the Greater New Braunfels Chamber of Commerce, we officially appoint Antanasio Campos, a prince of the city of a Prince, New Braunfels, Texas. The city was founded in 1845 by Prince Karl of Solms-Braunfels, Germany. Located deep in the heart of the Texas Hill Country, New Braunfels enjoys the crystal clear Comel Springs and the exciting Guadalupe River. By virtue of the pristine rivers and founder's heritage, New Braunfels is truly deserving of the title City of a Prince. In accepting this royal title, the bearer agrees to tell the world of New Braunfels' beauty, quality of life, and industrious citizens. Given this day, 29th of October, 2020, this is a numbered document, and it is authorized by myself as chair of the board and Michael Meek, president of the Chamber of Commerce. So congratulations, Prince. And I heard Mayor Brockman say that you had a crown already, but this is truly the decree that makes you the prince that can wear the crown. Okay? Thank you very much. Congratulations.
No, we're not done yet. I'd like to call Mr. Harrell down at this point to present to you an award from the Board of Trustees. It's the Rob Sohn Public Service. Yeah, please, come on down. Mm-hmm.
We're going to hammer this home because man's done a lot. Okay. Okay. Excuse me for this. Stand back. Okay. A resolution of the New Braunfels Utilities Board of Trustees recognizing Antanasio Nacho Campos with the Robert H. Sohn Public Service Award and his 20 years of service on the NBU board. Whereas Antanasio Nacho Campos will retire from his position as board trustee on the New Braunfels Utilities NBU Board of Trustees on October 31, 2020, after 20 years of dedicated service to NBU and its customers. And whereas the members of the NBU Board of Trustees recognize and honor Board Trustee Antanasio Campos for his contributions and tireless efforts and service to the New Braunfels Utilities, representing NBU throughout his tenure with leadership, commitment, honor, and dignity. And whereas during his tenure, the Board of Trustees increased wastewater treatment capacity by approximately 5 million gallons per day with 2 new plants and added more than 15,000 acre-feet of water supply, which included 2,000 acre-feet of Edwards Aquifer water rights, 4,000 acre-feet of Trinity water, and 11,350 acre-feet of Canyon Reservoir rights to further diversify the NB water supply, including pursuing wells in the Trinity Aquifer, obtaining 8,000 acre-feet of GBRA mid-basin supply, and legislation supporting the aquifer storage and recovery project. And whereas he helped provide the vision for the headwaters at the Comel, which has become NBU's conservation legacy, an environmental showcase where people can experience education and research in New Braunfels. And whereas growth during his service as a trustee has nearly doubled the required electric capacity from 3,000 MVA to 593 MVA and warranted the addition of the Hortontown, Highway 46, Henny, Loop 337, and the EC Morningwig substations, as well as the addition of several transformers at the Freiheit and Comel substations. And whereas during his service, NBU achieved credit rating upgrades from all 3 rating agencies, improving from an A rating to a AA rating, transitioned to I got a wrinkle here. Transition to a strategic diversification of power supply contracts, establish a contingency fund in order to rapidly respond to disasters, establish the NB Utility Bill Assistance Program, a dedicated fund to aging infrastructure, all saving NBU customers millions of dollars. And whereas during his service as trustee, Atanasio Campos held the office of president and vice president and served on the budget committee, GBRA technical committee, ad hoc water rate design committee, governance committee, legislative committee, personnel policy committee, and facilities master plan committee. And whereas he is a member of the Texas Bar Association and has served on the City of New Braunfels Workforce Housing and Bond Advisory Committee, American Public Power Association, Policy Makers Council, New Braunfels Impact Fee Advisory Board, New Braunfels Comprehensive Plan Steering Committee, and many others. And whereas he adopted the board responsibility that monitored the welfare, development, and succession of the staff of NBU, routinely bringing forward a balanced perspective of business needs and employee engagement in order to remain a successful, flexible, yet engaged utility which consistently ranks the highest in customer service in the utility business while maintaining low rates. And whereas his actions and leadership exemplify NBU's commitment to improving quality of life for customers and community through excellence in service, and his personal love of New Braunfels and the community, and he has earned great respect and friendship of citizenry. Therefore, be it bestowed by the NBU Board of Trustees, the NBU Board of Trustees and staff commend Atanasio Nacho Campos for his outstanding service for the past 20 years, to present him with the Robert H. Sloan Public Service Award for his dedication and service to NBU and the community of New Braunfels. Passed, approved, and adopted this 29th day of October 2020.
Thank you very much. Okay, so Nacho, you can sit down now. What we're going to do next, we put together we're not going to show the whole thing. We put together a 20-minute video for you of folks who've worked with you, just giving their reflections on your service over the years at NBU. And we have a small clip of it today. We'll get you the whole thing after the meeting. So we can all sit down now. We're going to play it up here for you. Yes, you can sit down.
Nacho Campos has been an amazing leader for NBU. He's provided 2 decades of service without expecting anything in return.
He served leadership roles on the board through these periods of historic growth, and we truly owe him a lot for all of his leadership over the years.
I think about how fortunate we are as a company and as a community to benefit from his 20 years of shaping the utility and providing a vision for our future.
The time you spent with public power and advocating for public power is a critical time facing our industry, and without people like you, we wouldn't be moving forward.
Dear Mr. Campos, Nacho, I'm disappointed that I will not be able to be there in person to recognize you at the board meeting, but I wanted you to know that I will be with you in spirit. I truly believe that New Braunfels is a better place because of your selfless service to New Braunfels as trustee on the NBU board. I salute you and sincerely thank you for what you meant to me and my career, and wish you the very best as you move forward. With warmest regards, Roger R. Biggers.
We live in a community that is a much better place because of your service. from the Headwaters to the ASR to just advocating for all of the water supply for the future and assuring that our wastewater just flows cleanly into the rivers. So thank you for all you have done, and I look forward to seeing you and working with you in the community for many years to come.
Mr. Campos, I want to thank you for your long-term service to MBU. You've done an incredible job. You're very empathetic to the employees and very caring. And the other thing I want to thank you for is your wonderful vision for the Headwaters property. The project came before the board, and you recognized the significance of this property to the community, to the environment, to just the history of New Braunfels. And you were the one who really was the impetus for getting this incredible project started.
It is your vision and the ideas you brought to the table that helped to make it what it is. And I think many decades from now, people are going to be so grateful for what you brought. And, thank you again for just loving this community and loving the utility and caring deeply. I will miss you, but thank you, my friend.
And to me, I think that what's just as important as what he did is the way he went about doing it. He always conducts himself with the highest level of professionalism and compassion and humility.
You will be missed. I think most importantly because of your advocacy for the citizens of New Braunfels, the employees of New Braunfels, and your support of the senior management team, but also your deliberate and thoughtful actions and activities and advice. Thank you.
You have been a leader in pioneering new projects, and that whole time you've always had a tremendous focus on our employees.
He's always giving gentle lessons throughout your time with him. And nothing in your face, just some slight suggestions that come across as a story. But knowing him, knowing what he's doing, I've always taken him to heart.
Your dedication to your volunteer work and what you do for this community is really inspirational as somebody that's newly arrived to town.
You've taught me a lot of life lessons, and I've really appreciated all of the worldly advice that you've given me over the years, and I'm really going to miss you.
And I do want you to know that I appreciate all of the hard work that you have put in for both MBU and for our community.
He is a model for public service, and I'm grateful for all that I've learned from him, and I will miss him for sure. Wish him the very best.
This is your home. New Braunfels is near and dear to your heart, and you can tell that by the many things that you have done and the care with which you have taken care of it. And so as you walk into many other opportunities that you will have to volunteer and to work, again, making your hometown community better, I want to wish you the best, and I look forward to working with you in other ways as we continue to all work together to make New Braunfels a great place. Thank you again, my friend.
And I want to send my personal thanks. And I also would like to, on behalf of the city of New Braunfels, thank you and send best wishes as you leave your position on the board. And so thank you and best wishes, Nacho.
Everything he's done is so long-lasting. He has left an amazing legacy for NBU. So I'm very grateful for any time I've spent with him.
Thank you very much. It's been a great ride. I've enjoyed working with each of you. Very professional people and a very well-balanced company. I mean, I've learned a lot from every one of you. I really have. Thank you.
We thank you, Mr. Campos, and for everybody here standing room only in this packed room today. Thank you all for coming and helping us recognize him today. Appreciate y'all.
Thanks to my family for coming. I think you were invited so you can carry all this stuff out. Does everyone know my wife, Sarah? My son, Andres, his wife, Carmen, Brian and his wife and little boy over here. He's asleep.
Well, Nacho, we appreciate you.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate you.
Okay, that takes us to item E, items from staff. Number 1, CEO's update.
Let me get myself adjusted here, y'all. Okay. First thing I'll lead off with, this past Monday in this room, City Council unanimously approved the second reading of our 3-year rate plan. And I want to thank you all on the board for your vision, your direction, and your support as we've navigated these significant challenges brought on by growth that impact our core mission of providing essential services. Y'all know these rates are driven by capital projects, and we're not building these projects because we want to. We're building these projects because we must. And we're doing that to ensure compliance, resiliency, and protecting the public health. We continue to receive terrific support from those in our community that are informed and understand the situation, and I know that you know that as well. Anyway, I just want to thank you all for serving our community on this board and doing it during a historic time and addressing these tough challenges head on. So it was a big deal last Monday night, and I appreciate y'all's role in it. The next item I have, if we could go forward one slide. I didn't have a slide for that one. Okay, so reentry. Over the past month, we've all seen the community and schools move forward with a greater sense of normalcy. And in late September, some businesses were able to expand their capacity. It's good to see this. It's encouraging for me to see these COVID protocols that we're all doing working and allowing us to get back to normal to some degree. But the health and safety of our employees and customers and vendors continues to be top priority. So in September, we surveyed our employees that are working from home and asked them their thoughts on it, whether they want to stay there, come back, or do something in between. And the survey showed there were some employees who wanted to come back to the office. And so from that survey, we designed a voluntary, what we call phase 1 reentry plan, which we started on October 5th. Our department managers developed staggered schedules for their staff who volunteered to reenter. And by mid-October, we phased in approximately 20 employees to the existing on-site staff at the main plaza, and then 12 at the service center. And during this reentry phase, of course, the MBU buildings remain closed to the public to make sure we protect our workforce and ensure continuity of service. Next slide, please. On October 13th, we hosted the 2021 class of Leadership New Braunfels at the new Green Water Reclamation Facility. We'll get you all out there very soon. We're planning a special tour of that for you all to see that plant. Our own Brent Lundmark provided a tour for the group. If you've seen his presentation on wastewater, there is nobody better. So I'm excited they got to experience that. Our own Robin Britton, our Chief Technology and Security Officer, is participating in this year's class on behalf of MBU. She's representing us there. And this class is about half the size of prior years because of COVID-19, but they were able to continue with it anyway. Next slide, please. On October 21st, MBU participated in the National Imagine a Day Without Water campaign again this year by offering an employee challenge on our workplace, which is our employee social media site, with a trivia game testing water knowledge and encouraged water conservation on its social media. Additionally, the Headwaters at the Comal worked with our area schools by hosting online education and an art contest. And as you know, this message of imagining a day without water grows more important every year with the growth and the stress on our springs and natural resources, and makes that focus on one water that much more important. And that's the end of my presentation.
That's a great motif.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Tell you what, I did want to mention something else, and I didn't get it during our items from the chair. I had a very positive exchange this week with one of our folks, MBU, one of the guys that was managing the line clearing contractor that came up in Encino, where I live, and couldn't have been more professional, extremely empathetic. I guess it's Greenstone is our contractor on that. Did a fantastic job. We had a neighbor across the street that had some trees that needed to get decent amount of pruning done, and he was very concerned, but those guys were spot on, man. Handled it perfectly.
That's awesome. That's Justin Green. Where you at? There he is.
Yep. They did a fantastic job. Yep.
Thank you for that.
Very professional, very empathetic, very patient. So thumbs up to those guys.
A lot of trees on Encino Drive. A lot of work
Yes,
to be
sir.
done there.
Thankfully, the lines are on the other side of the road to me. So I was just out there listening like an old man. Okay, that takes us to item 2, financial update and report.
Good afternoon, Board. I'm here to present the financial update for September. These numbers cover year-to-date August and September numbers, and I just want to mention that we're still rolling forward some of our capital balances, so that will affect our CWIP and our depreciation expense. Also, typical for this year, and you'll see in our own expenses has not started coming in to the magnitude that we expected. There are some timing delays when compared to the budget. You may recall also in our fiscal year budget for 21, we put in some adjustments for COVID-19 into the plan. The growth is at half growth. Our impact fees are at half of what we saw last year. New personnel would be coming in November versus August, as well as expenses starting way under budget in the first 2 months. And then you'll also see that our revenues are pretty much on target with what we projected. So looking at our key financial ratios for September year to date, the first column is actual, or where we ended up in fiscal year 20. Our fiscal year 21 budget is the next column, and then the last column is actual. So looking at our debt to capitalization, we're reporting out at 32.3%, which is 50% or less within our financial policy. Our debt service coverage is at 8.51, which is well within our financial policy of 2.4 or greater. Our days cash on hand is 182 days, which is also well within our policy of 140 or greater. And our days liquidity on hand is at 325. Okay, this graph is also showing the days cash on hand, so it's showing the actual of 182 compared to our budget, which is the orange dotted lines at 142. So it shows that we're doing pretty well through September. Our operating revenues by line of business, those measures are showing higher revenues in electric than budgeted and higher revenues in water and wastewater than in prior years. We did also experience higher rainfall and higher temperatures in the month of September, which also affects, our revenues in those areas. Electric is $6 million less than prior year and $400,000 greater than budget. In the water, we're $300,000 greater than prior year and $600,000 less than budget. And our wastewater is $100,000 greater than prior year and $700,000 less than budget. Okay, this slide is showing our operating expenses by line of business. Operating expenses, again, are showing greater than or equal to than prior years and then less than budget. Electric budget is showing $2 million less than budget. Our expenses in water is $200,000 greater than prior year and $1.3 million less than budget. And wastewater is $300,000 greater than prior year and $900,000 less than budget. And I want to report out that our combined O&M expenses are $500,000 greater than prior year, up at $4.2 million less than budget, which is quite significant. Our impact fees year to date collected is $2.5 million. We had budgeted at $1.3 million, so it's showing that we're kind of high on collections there. When we compare to actual last year at $1 million. Okay, this slide is showing our changes in net position after contributions. We're showing a change in net position after contributions of $9.5 million, greater than budget. And our actual last time this year was $1.7, mostly contributed to our operating revenues being $8,000 less than budget, our operating expenses at $8.7 million less than budget, which includes our purchase power and depreciation costs, and our non-operating revenues at $500,000 favorable compared to our budget. In addition to that, we have capital contributions of $1 million and $2.5 million of impact fees that add to our bottom line. Okay, our capital projects expenditures to date through September were well under what we budget for just within the first 2 months, obviously, but we're at 10% compared to the budget for electric. We're at 2% for water and wastewater and less than 1% for our support services. And that's the end of the financial update. I'll take any questions if you have any.
Any questions? Great.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I guess, when did you come on? In March? Is that right? Well, I think we met on a Zoom call or a GoToMeeting call. So was it March, April? May. Okay, well, welcome.
Good to see you.
Name with a face, not a screen. Okay, number 3, update in customer accounts, or on customer accounts, rather.
Okay, so thanks to our data strategy team, we have an improved version to show to you this month, and it hopefully will better tell the story of our past due number of accounts. There's many variables that impact the past due accounts, and we tried to layer as many of those into this graph as we could. In March, when the pandemic shut down our community, MBU suspended disconnects and penalties for non-payment. We reinstated disconnects for our commercial accounts in July, and then our residential accounts in September. The dashed lime green line shows the number of extensions and payment plans, and you can see that escalating starting around that July time period. We currently have a large number of customers on these plans. So due to limited resources, it will take us some time to address all the past due balances. All right, and then on this graph, this is another way to look at the number of accounts that are past due. This shows you the number of accounts past due by year. That black line represents 2020, and the bottom vertical bars are the charge-offs that we do quarterly. You can see that charge-offs decrease the number of accounts when we write those accounts off. So are we making progress? Even though the number of accounts has increased because of the pandemic, we're holding steady right now. So that probably is a sign of progress for us in this environment, and we'll continue to work on those accounts. Are there any questions?
Any questions? No, ma'am. Thank you. Okay, that takes us to consent items for action. Item F. Number 1, approved minutes of the MBU regular board meeting of September 24, 2020. I'll start over so it's recorded. Number 1, approved minutes of MBU regular board meeting of September 24, 2020. Number 2, approve the change order log from August 15, 2020 through September 15, 2020. Number 3, approve the reports for water and electric engineering contracts from August 1, 2020 through September 15, 2020. Number 4, authorize CEO to negotiate and execute a professional services agreement with Schneider Engineering Limited for fiscal year 2021 and fiscal year 2022 substation capital project engineering services. Number 5, authorize CEO to negotiate and execute a construction contract agreement with the Sato Construction Company for the construction of the Grandview Pump Station expansion project. Number 6, authorize CEO to negotiate and execute an amendment to work authorization with Jones and Carter, Inc. for the North and South Keeler Wastewater Treatment Plant Rehabilitation Project. Number 7, authorize CEO to negotiate and execute a professional services agreement with Jones and Carter, Inc. for the design of the McKenzie Water Reclamation Facility Expansion Project. Number 8, authorize CEO to negotiate and execute a services and goods agreement with MGC Contractors, Inc. for blower inspection, maintenance, and on-call repair services. Number 9, authorize CEO to negotiate and execute a memorandum of understanding between the City of New Braunfels and New Braunfels Utilities for design and construction of a stormwater basin in the water plant area located within the project area of the headwaters at the canal.
I move that we approve and authorize as stated.
Second.
I've got a first and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Where's Laura? Do we need to roll call at all today? You had mentioned we did, but we don't. We're good. Okay, great. Okay, that takes us to item G, executive session. The Board of Trustees may recess an executive session for any purpose permitted by the Texas Open Meetings Act, including but not limited to, number 1, power supply resources, competitive matters, section 551.086 Texas Government Code. Number 2, consultation with attorney regarding pending or contemplated litigation and other matters protected by attorney-client privilege, section 551.071 Texas Government Code. A, discussion regarding first modification to the Second Amendment to the Utility Construction Cost Sharing Agreement for the Copper Ridge Substation, Copper Ridge Subdivision among MBU, Sutherland Communities, MB Land Properties Limited, and Sutherland Copper Ridge LLC. Number 3, personal matters CEO evaluation continues, section 551.074 Texas Government Code. Number 4, consultation with attorney regarding pending and contemplated litigation and other matters protected by attorney-client privilege, personnel matters, section 551.071 Texas Government Code, section 551.074 Texas Government Code. A, deliberate plan and strategy for implementation of executive agreement for Chief Executive Officer. The Board of Trustees, upon reconvening in open session, will discuss and consider any action if necessary regarding closed session items. It is 1:50. We will recess into executive session.
Officer Coronado, is it safe to leave all of our belongings in here when we go across the Tejas room, or should we take it with us? Okay. Okay. Thank you. Phone calls, but I had time. Yeah.
Looking at the blame table.
Okay, it is 3:43. We've just reconvened in open session, and there is no action needed related to the board's discussion in the executive session. Now we'll move on to action item I.1. Discuss, consider authorization or authorizing the CEO to negotiate and execute the first modification to the Second Amendment to the Utility Cost Sharing Agreement for the Copper Ridge Subdivision among MBU, Sutherland Communities, MB Land Properties Limited, and Sutherland Copper Ridge LLC. I'll entertain a motion at this time.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, I've got a first and a second motion. We got a first from Ms. Hoffman and a second from the mayor. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Okay, all those opposed, same sign.
No.
Okay, the motion passes 3-2. We have any more business to come before the board? If not, it is 3:44. We will adjourn.
Great having you, Mr. Campos.
Great being here.